All right, we're on air. It is Thursday, October 8th. It's been a very trouble-filled internet day, but we're happy to be here. Really quickly, we're going to try and get through this meeting to make sure that the internet stays up the whole time, which would be fantastic. General announcements. First and most exciting order of business, you can now buy your Backdrop CMS t-shirts and hoodies on the Backdrop website. If you go to backdropcms.org/contribute, there are design previews of both the shirt and the hoodie. The shirt is white with a black dragon. The hoodie is black, almost black, this color, eco black, with a black dragon. It's got a white outline. It's adorable. You can pre-order both shirts and hoodies on the internet on that page, and you can pick them up in person at Bad Camp. If you can't be at Bad Camp at the Backdrop Summit, that price will include us going to the trouble of actually mailing it to you. So if we have people who aren't planning on coming but still want a t-shirt or hoodie, you can buy it. If you do make it to the Backdrop Summit at Bad Camp and you are a Backdrop contributor, we're going to give away the t-shirts to those people for free. So anyone who has contributed in any significant way, being active in the issue queue counts. You don't have to be a contributor of code. Then you'll get your Backdrop shirt as a little thank you gift with a dragon on it. Everybody loves dragons. Two upcoming events we're looking for speakers. The Backdrop Summit at Bad Camp is imminent. It's on October 22nd. And also Drupal Camp Utah, which is in February of 2016. We have PHP Storm licenses for Backdrop Contrib developers. If you want to try PHP Storm and you're working on Backdrop, send an email to info@backdropcms.org and we can send you a license. No updates from the PMC. And Nate, do you want to take over for community growth?
Sure. Checking in on. Okay. So, community growth. So every week we like to talk about how many total projects there are for Backdrop CMS. Right now there are 161 total projects. A couple of new themes popped up in the last week, which is fantastic to see those coming in and being in place. I think actually Andy just joined, and Ezenwa, I think they may be the creators of said themes. So thank you guys for the new themes. It's awesome to see this popping up. Let's see. On backdropcms.org, there are 89 total projects with official releases. 4 new projects since last week have been tagged with an official release and published on backdropcms.org. So great to see those projects coming in and continuing to proliferate onto our primary website. We have 39 total members of the Backdrop Contrib group. If you're interested in porting module to Backdrop CMS, or writing a new theme, or making some layouts, or basically collaborating with the broader Backdrop community in some way, then please apply to the Backdrop Contrib group, which is at github.com/backdrop-ops/contrib, and that's our issue queue for getting new members into the community so that they can publish to the Backdrop Contrib group. Let's see. So let's see. Update checking for Backdrop CMS. We go into infrastructure from here. Update checking has been working for a long time. Our analytics still aren't accruing properly, so they're all zeroed out. If anybody has any experience or an interest in looking at a project module, you can download the project module from backdropcms.org or GitHub from the Contrib group and take a look at project module, because project module is the module that's responsible for collecting all of our usage statistics from children websites. And that's working fine, but the actual number crunching script is broken in some way. So we still have that outstanding bug. As soon as we get that fixed, then we'll probably start showing usage charts on, or usage data like as a table on backdropcms.org. And that'll allow us to make it so we can sort by most popular projects on the website rather than them just being by published date, which is what we're doing right now. Let's see. we're also trying to make it so that in the next version of Backdrop, hopefully, you'll be able to find and install modules directly from the user interface. And we're doing that with Project Browser module. Project Browser Server is actually already up on backdropcms.org. So if you download and install the contrib version of Project Browser, you can actually use it right now with backdropcms.org, which is pretty cool. There are some continuing issues with integration there, and there's an issue for that in the Backdrop issue queue, issue 870. You can follow along on the progress there. Let's see, Drush for Backdrop. I think this is our oldest open issue that we're still working on. Any updates on that, Jen?
No, I haven't checked on it since last week. Last week we had one person that said that they got it working, but not in any way that was viable for Drush or Backdrop. So I'll check in on that today and see if we can look at how we can get it working in a way that we can commit something. So that would be great.
Okay. So let's see. Our primary website, backdropcms.org, the next task that we have on our agenda, besides things like usage statistics, are making it so that everybody can log into the website. For the time being, we've had some people saying that they found typos or something like that. There's a dedicated issue queue on GitHub for backdropcms.org under backdrop-ops/backdropcms.org. And that contains the code for backdropcms.org. If you want to file a pull request against backdropcms.org, you can do that to solve some structural problems with the site. But if it's just a typo or something like that, you can also file an issue there. And those who do have logins can fix it in the meantime. But in the near future, we're hoping to allow more users to be able to log in to work more collaboratively on the main website. And along with login, we do want to have some kind of single sign-on solution for a couple of reasons. We've got a couple of different websites already. The API website, for example, is a separate website from backdropcms.org. So we'd like to make it so that you can log in across those different environments. And also, preferably, have some kind of GitHub integration, since a lot of our collaboration happens on GitHub. It would be great if people could use their GitHub logins to sign into backdropcms.org. And also, we'll probably need some kind of integration between the two to make it so that we can associate user accounts on backdropcms.org with user accounts on GitHub to show like activity and participation in projects and maintainership, those sorts of things. We've got grand plans for the long-term goals of backdropcms.org, including a showcase, service providers, event calendar, jobs, those sorts of things. But those are all kind of down the pipe. For the time being, really getting projects, analytics, and sign-ons all together is really where our focus is for backdropcms.org. Cool. All right. Well, the next item on the agenda, if there's something else there, is Backdrop CMS, the project, and talking about how we're proceeding there. So the next version of next bug fix release will be Backdrop 1.2.3, a very nice little number. And we don't have a scheduled release date for the next bug fix release. It's basically just whenever we accrue enough fixes that we will make that new release. Right now, I don't think there's hardly any changes to the code since 1.2.2. That's the current stable, and it's working just great. So 1.3.0, which is the next minor release, is scheduled for January 15th, 2016. And this is what we're calling the UX release, where instead of putting in giant new features like date or CK editor, the things that we put in the last release were Path Auto and Token, like we did the release before that. What we're really focused on in this release is a polishing of the pieces of software that we have, the modules that we have, and making it so that things like the layouts UI, the WYSIWYG editor, things like that are a lot smoother. So we have a number of issues that are basically like master issues that all the children are within. There's issue 345 for layout module, and that includes things like adding one block per field, and potentially relationship handling and making layouts generally a lot more powerful. A lot of those issues are actually in progress, and it'll be great to see those get completed before the next release. Rich text editor follow-ups is issue 1087, and that includes a bunch of stuff. Let me see. I'll pull it up. That includes things like fixing up the filter tips to make it so that like filter tips don't mesh with the concept of a rich text editor, because it's like how to write HTML or paragraphs will automatically break, and those sorts of things just aren't relevant when you're using a rich text editor because it does all of those things for you. So we want to flip it around where we make it so that the interface is designed for rich text editors and toolbars first, and a no editor experience second. And right now it's still kind of optimized for people typing in HTML rather than using a toolbar or a rich text editor or Markdown or something else. We also want to work on cleaning up field UI. This really ranges. There's issue 779 that is the kind of master issue, but solutions range from just tidying up things, like flipping around the way widgets and fields are selected, to doing an entirely new UX. So that can go, we'll see how far that goes in 1.3. It could be really aggressive, or more likely it'll be a lot more moderated, I think. But we're always open. It'd be great to get an improved field UI in. If it's not 1.3, then we can schedule it for 1.4 or 1.5. That's just a really big question and a really big task. Actually, some of the work that Wes has been doing, that looked pretty interesting because it's about changing the way that you add a field, but not necessarily the way that you edit a field. It seems like that's actually pretty modest in terms of large-term plans. Since we've got Ezenwa here also, his sketches of dragging in fields from the left-hand palette would probably be more on the ambitious side of things. So, not to say that we can't do it or we won't do that eventually, but just it's going to be a big task to solve. Let's see. We've also got some views in core. We want to make it so that we convert more of our listings to views. Right now we've got about 2/3 of them converted, but there's still some pages that could be fully converted out to views. And finally, an issue for simplifying the menu UI, just making it so that we have a couple of consolidated pages would be fantastic. That's issue number 475. Okay, let's see. There's a whole bunch of other issues. If you want to take a look at the issues that are tagged for 1.3.0, we have a tag for that on GitHub. And you can check that milestone for things that we're targeting for the 1.3.0 release. Let's see, we just have added in here. Jen and I have been talking back and forth about what 1.4.0 would include, and even though that's really pretty far in the future, that's not January 15th, that would be, May 15th, 2016. And one item that we've run up against pretty regularly is that we do have a port of references module, which includes node reference and user reference module, but the entity reference module, which is kind of a giant, it's kind of a mess, but there's no entity reference module for Backdrop currently, and we're hoping that we can make some kind of entity reference-like module, maybe just call it references module, for Backdrop core to make it so that we could solve this ambiguity around how to do references in Backdrop. So that's possibly slated for 1.4.0 as a feature request that we'd like to get implemented in the future. Let's see. We also have tags for UX and DX on the issue queue that we would just like to generally make improvements on. Although the next release is supposed to be the UX release where we fix a whole bunch of these small lingering issues. There are some ones that don't get brought up every week in the meetings, but you can just search for UX in square brackets on the Backdrop issue queue, and there's a whole bunch of other issues in there that can also be pulled up that are related to UX that we don't mention, but are still that would still be great to implement as soon as possible. Let's see. Every Thursday, that's today, after the weekly meeting, we hang out in IRC under #Backdrop on IRC, and it's generally time where we're in the issue queue, working together, trying to answer some things. And I know in the last week, in particular, Jen and I have been a little bit difficult to get a hold of, but we're going to spend some time this afternoon and start going through the issues and answering all of the things that have accumulated over the past couple of days. We also have a Reddit channel, reddit.com/r/backdrop, and of course the GitHub issue queue, which is at github.com/backdrop/backdrop-issues, backdrop-issues, excuse me. Let's see. Jen, do you want to talk about upcoming Backdrop events?
Sure. I mean, the most exciting one is the Backdrop Summit, which is going to happen on October 22nd at Bad Camp. But before that, there is a Backdrop-friendly Drupal event at the Pacific Northwest Drupal Summit, which is October 10th through 11th. At the Backdrop Summit, we currently have a bunch of talks tentatively scheduled for why a Backdrop demo, the differences from Drupal 7, Backdrop, porting a module to Backdrop, maybe upgrading a site to Backdrop. We have 17 people who are currently registered for the Backdrop, but we haven't heard a lot of promotion about it yet, so we'll probably start to make some noise about that in the coming weeks. Anyone who plans on coming and wants to give a talk, let us know. We can definitely invite you in. We're hoping to make each talk about 20 minutes long with a little Q&A after each one. If you have something you want to talk about that's currently on our schedule, let us know about that too. We're definitely open to suggestions on that. We will be running a little sale area there where you can make a donation to Backdrop, and you will receive your T-shirt or hoodie. You can pick those there. If you have time online, you can obviously pick your T-shirt or hoodie there as well too. And if you are a contributor, don't buy the T-shirt because we'll give you one for free unless you really want to make a donation to Backdrop, in which case we will gladly accept it. The presentations on Thursday will be 20 minutes long. We tried to put all of the sessions that were submitted in the Backdrop. So I'm not really sure if you've got an email from David about your session being accepted for Bad Camp. It could be that a Backdrop session that was submitted got accepted for the regular sessions, which are on Saturday and Sunday. But we are planning on just doing little sessions on Thursday, which is Backdrop Day, that are 20 minutes each. So hopefully that'll be like a teaser. If you're doing the same one both times, you can say, here's 20 minutes. I just want to show you a little bit. If you want a deep dive, come to my session on Saturday. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure which sessions got submitted. I can check that and find out. See if there are any sessions that got submitted or accepted for the weekend. Other events that are coming up, we are doing Drupal Camp Ohio is the same weekend as Bad Camp. That'll just be on the 23rd and 24th, so just on Friday, Saturday. And I know they're also Backdrop friendly, so if you aren't coming to California, you're interested in going to Ohio, that's an option. You can talk to people about Backdrop there. We also have Drupal Camp Utah, as mentioned before, in February, and Sand Camp in San Diego that same weekend. So yeah, I mean, I think what we're planning to do for the Backdrop will depend on who's in the room. So anyone wants to give us any feedback, anything you want to hear, that's also really useful. We could try and make that happen too. I guess that's it for upcoming events. We are nearing holiday season, which means things will slow down a little bit, which is why we've got kind of a big hole from October until February, as to be expected. Oh, there's also Drupal Camp Mexico, which is kind of the same time too. Does anybody know when that is? I can look it up. That's fine. Yeah, I guess that's it. In terms of publicity, the new Drupal watchdog will be coming out soon. I think it might have even come out for Barcelona. So that means that if you want to read the 7-page feature story on Backdrop, you probably need to find that online in the previous version of Drupal watchdog. So that's a good resource for that. I've also been getting a bunch of people in, like if you go to create an issue on Drupal.org saying, hey, current maintainers, are you interested in porting this project to Backdrop? I've been getting a lot of feedback from the maintainers that they are interested in doing it themselves, but they need documentation on how to do that, and in particular, how to maintain both the Backdrop version and the version. And so I've been posting those links to that article written by David Rothstein on how to maintain your projects for Drupal and Backdrop at the same time. I think that's been really beneficial for a lot of people. So if anyone else runs into that same issue, I highly recommend those 3 articles. It's a series of 3 on how to maintain projects for both. That seems to be what maintainers really need to know, so really useful to have that. That's all that's on our agenda. The internet has stayed up our time, which is fantastic. So really quickly, does anyone have anything we should talk about, any questions, anything we should discuss urgently this week? No? All right. Well, thank you guys all for coming and bearing with us through our iffy internet. We'll try and get this sorted out sometime soon and be back on our regularly scheduled meetings. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in IRC and on the issue queue. Thanks for coming.